And so we have with us once again one of our monthly guests, Melih Oztalay. Uh, he's also my business partner on MITech News and does my social media and a whole bunch of other things. I had to get that disclaimer in. But what he's been doing since springtime is he's been doing a series on AI for business and AI for digital marketing and all sorts of things. And he's come back today. Now, what is our topic? What are we looking at in AI today, Melih?
Mike, good to be back on the show. The last time we were on the show, we talked about artificial intelligence and search engine marketing. Um, my background being in marketing, of course, the question is how do we take the tools that are on the market and apply them to marketing to benefit businesses? And so, to that extent, I think the one that we did in September, this kind of segues right into it. The one we did in September was about AI and search engine optimization, AI and being able to understand how content optimization and content development is being used in search engine optimization with artificial intelligence. And so we talked a lot about those types of topics um, in September. What I want to do today is kind of continue on that concept of but this time taking a look at newer tools that are on the market. Because you might remember back, I think it was in January when we did one show, we were talking about the tools that were out on the market then. As you can imagine, it's gone up 100-fold since then in terms of artificial intelligence tools for businesses. And so, what we want to take a look at but it's not just about, I should say this, it's not just about the tools, it's about the categories. And I think that's where the differences lie compared to where we were earlier this year. In other words, we want to take a look at content creation, right? What are some of the things that are on the market for that purpose? We want to take a look at how do we engage prospects, website visitors, how do we personalize, the interaction with our prospects and our clients, if you wish, through CRM products. How do we use predictive analytics as it relates to artificial intelligence? So, as you can imagine, social media is right on the top of that list in terms of how AI can benefit us there. Another category, image and design generation, right? Nothing, I mean, generative AI, right? That's been on the market for a while. Those are but that particular category continues to expand. Another area, that has evolved over this year is how do we use artificial intelligence in advertising? How do we optimize our ad campaigns, regardless of the platform that we're using, so that we're getting the right interactions, we're using our budget wisely, et cetera, and to do so much faster than we would have normally. And I think the last part basically comes down to how do you take all of these different marketing uh, activities that we're doing, and how do we analyze them and visualize them when it comes to using artificial intelligence tool. So that's kind of the topics that we're going to talk about. Before I continue, what do you guys think?
Well, Matt has rejoined us, by the way. Matt's been
Hey,
gone for
Matt,
a
there he is.
couple of months, and now as the $6 million man has
Oh, for
returned.
sure. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, Matt, go ahead. I'm sure you have questions.
Well, I saw a whole bunch of tools that you listed here as being somewhat new and things people might want to look at to use AI to help them. And the first one I noticed was this Jasper.ai, generating marketing copy, social media posts, and blog articles based on prompts.
Yep.
That's part of what I do for a living, so I'm a little bit curious about.
You just replaced Matt. He's thanking you.
Yeah, well,
He's
I am
out
going to
of there.
retire pretty soon, but
You're
I'll probably
gone,
be around.
baby.
So maybe this is something I can use in my future career as a freelancer, right?
Exactly, I agree. Yeah, I mean, look, Chat GPT should be on that list too. But there's so many tools on the market nowadays; it's just impossible to list them all. So, to answer your question and what we have found is that you can use artificial intelligence, whether it's Jasper.ai, Copy.ai, WriteSonic.com, ChatGPT, take your pick. What we've generally found is you're able to provide the artificial intelligence a starting point on the topic that you want. It'll help you develop the outline. It'll help you develop the copies within the sections of your let's say your article or your blog post, right, or your social media post. But when it's done, you still need a human being to edit it. So what you've done over here is essentially in using AI is you've sped up the process of getting that blog article or social media post together. Thereby, especially from our standpoint as a marketing agency, we're able to double almost the amount of content that we're able to create for our client and their marketing campaign. But it always requires a writer to do the editing, to do the grammar check, to make sure, like something, Mike has seen this before too, where the AI will turn around and create all these flowery words that he likes to use.
Yeah, that clearly is not words that I use, so.
Right, exactly. Right. And somebody has to edit that content and to be able to peel that out and turn it into something that's more human, that actually will get somebody's attention. So we're not completely out of the woodwork here in terms of avoiding or kicking human beings out of the mix. More importantly, we're using AI to become more efficient and to be able to do more faster. So that's kind of where we're at in terms of content creation. But the list goes on. It's kind of interesting. So, for example, you're going to use AI with your CRM system nowadays. So you're automating customer segmentation, you're personalizing email marketing in your outreach program. Has a great CRM platform. And don't get me started on HubSpot because I think they're playing around in areas that I don't think they need to be. I mean, initially it was an analysis tool. Now they've built, they've kind of grown into the CRM automation, which is great. But then after that, I don't know about them. The other one, for example, that you might want to consider for customer engagement is called Intercom. And again, look, just go on Google and just type in AI-powered CRM, for example. You'd be amazed what's on the market nowadays. All these different things, like in this case, it's not so much about necessarily, I should say, in creating the content as much as personalizing it and then segmenting your audience based on their previous response rates. So it's making the process of analysis faster in this case. Another area, predictive analytics, right? Perfect spot in terms of taking a look at a bunch of data. Say a bunch, I mean a bunch. Not using the word loosely here. And taking all this data about your marketing program, pulling it all together, and then trying to identify what does this mean in real time to change your marketing strategy so that you can actually become more effective faster. So in the other scenario that we were talking about earlier, we were talking about being efficient faster. Now we're talking about being effective faster. And so tools like BrandWatch, I think, is a good one if people want to take a look at. Salesforce obviously has been on the market for a long time, but they have pulled in a new tool called Einstein when it comes to predictive insights. Again, in that particular case, they're using their predictive analysis AI called Einstein to help facilitate the CRM system. Really cool stuff, guys. It's just amazing where all this is going. I don't know what you guys think.
Well, it seems like I get at least one press release, and usually multiple every day, about somebody introducing AI to whatever the heck they're doing. And I think there's a big bandwagon effect right now where people don't want to be left behind, or they don't want their customers to think they're not current. And do you agree with that, or what's going on?
I mean, I think, if you're getting emails and they're AI generated, the idea would be that it's personalized to you. meaning that they have information about you so that the content and how it speaks to you is specific to you. And the idea is that, oh wow, look at, this is customized to me. This is personalized. Then it should be able to grab my attention. I don't know that it does what it's supposed to do in that scenario. But again, let's look at email marketing as two parts. The cold outreach, in other words, you've never done business with this company and they're trying to personalize something to you, versus a company that you have done business with and they're personalizing based on their past experience with you, which I think obviously is more effective.
Yeah, and technically, I suppose if they're reaching out to you and they don't have a business relationship with you, they're spamming you under the classic terms. But I don't think that matters to anybody anymore. They're all just trying
Exactly.
to grab as many people as they can and hopefully make some money. So
I agree, no doubt about it.
we're just talking about everybody and his brother suddenly wanting to use AI or implementing AI at what they're doing.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Well, we
So
have a fair number of people at Lawrence Tech using it to help them write speeches. I know that. And usually the language that that ChatGPT at least will use is a little bit more flowery and theatrical,
Yeah,
than I would write, for instance, at least,
putting them on.
yeah,
with a lot more sort of superlatives and incredibles and amazings and unbelievables, words like
I
that.
agree.
Uh, so you're right about still requiring a human editor, but I asked AI to write me a little essay on AI taking over writing, and it wrote me a
Mhm.
pretty good one, but it still needed some work. So
Yeah, it
it,
does. I agree.
yeah.
And
It
at
does
the end,
need
it
work.
said you're toast or something like that, or
No, no, no.
okay.
Everybody needs an
Okay,
editor, right? No matter
here,
what. So yeah.
get a load of this, guy. So take Chat GPTs with all its flowery words, okay, and put it into Grammarly. Now, Grammarly is much better in terms of identifying these flowery words and trying to eliminate it. So take ChatGPT, stick it into Grammarly, and have Grammarly edit ChatGPT for you. The
Okay,
first
I'll
thing
give
it
that a
does is,
try.
yeah, the first thing it does is get rid of all the flowery words.
Yeah, the
So it's pretty
esteemed.
interesting.
I know when I'm reading AI when it calls somebody the esteemed whoever, so
Right.
words like that.
Exactly.
Really? So
No doubt about it. Interesting stuff. Interesting times. It's interesting to be there when something like this is coming to the market, and you can see how it evolves over time. We certainly started this about 2 years ago, and here we are 2 years later, and it's just blown out of proportion. I mean, social media services like Hootsuite, like Buffer, they never had AI before. Well, guess what? In a very short amount of time, they have a, added AI without additional charge to their platforms, right? I mean, that's kind of where we're going here. Canva, another one. Canva never had AI before, but in the last 2 years now, they're certainly right on the bandwagon. It's crazy how what everybody's doing when it comes to artificial intelligence, how they are adopting it and how they're adopting it quickly.
indeed. So and I know you use it every day. I believe you told me, right?
I do. I use it every day. It helps speed up the amount of work that I have to do. I am able to get more done across broader segments of my day. Whether it's let's say, the emails I don't have to write, the blog articles I write for our own company, whether it's work that I have to do on LinkedIn and help me, with answers, replies, comments, for example. Because sometimes I write something, I'm like, I feel like I'm missing something. What is it? And so you kind of check in with Chat GPT and ask it the question, okay, but tell me a little bit more about this topic, so that whatever I'm writing in LinkedIn is meaningful. Because on one hand, you're trying to present yourself as somebody who has knowledge and experience. And so that's, I think, where this plays, I think where ChatGPT helps to um, provide additional content that you didn't think about.
Okay, you got any final questions there, Matthew?
Well, I did want to ask about this being used in terms of art and graphics, because there's
Hmm.
plenty of graphic designers out there who are every bit as nervous as us writers are.
Sure.
So where do you see that going?
So generative AI in this space is just gone crazy, as you can imagine, along with everything else that's out there. So, OpenAI, so ChatGPT, they have the Dolly system, right? You got Canva in this system. You got Midjourney, which we talked about months ago. And they have continued to evolve and improve the type of quality that they're able to produce. And sure enough, if you go to TikTok or you go to Instagram, you're going to find AI generated content very quickly. And what I mean by that is it looks real. It's a video of a human being that AI generated. Now, 2 years ago, when that happened, you could identify it by seeing that there were six fingers on somebody's hands. Well, guess what? Those six fingers are gone.
Hmm.
It looks and feels like a human being now. And short of, some, really paying attention to the background and the video that it created, you're not going to know that it's AI generated. And I'm again, just like in the writing sector, I think the the creative sector is the same thing. The human being is the one that's coming up with the um, with the creative approach, right? The AI can't do the creative approach.
Hmm.
It's only doing what it's being told in the prompts.
Right.
And again, there, same thing. What it's doing is helping to speed up the development of the creative content. It's still up to that human being to figure out how do I improve on it, edit it, and make it usable as content on the market. Um, and like when it comes, and again, I'm looking at the business side of it, and I'm saying that it's helping us become more efficient, being able to get more done faster, and in some scenarios, it's able to make us more effective. So it really comes down to people having to reinvent themselves.
Hmm.
I mean, let's use Star Trek, right? The old series, right? They're talking to the AI system on the ship. It still requires all those people on the ship to be there. It's not like the computer is able to go out and discover far new lands on its own. Same situation. I don't think we need to be afraid.
Well, that's good to know.
All right, Bailey. And so I know how to reach you, but how do other people reach you?
Uh, I always suggest people to reach me on LinkedIn. It's probably the best place. I guarantee you I'm the only Melih Oztalay there.
Oh no, I've
Um,
seen at least a dozen or so on there.
just other than seeing my two sons and my brother based on with the same last name, there's only one me. That's usually the best place to reach me. I do have nearly 22,000 connections. I always suggest people to tag me on their posts. Happy to put in a decent paragraph with hashtags to help expand that person's reach with their posts. Alternatively, reach out, check out our website, smartfindsmarketing.com.